Did you know Saturn could float on water? Or that it has a moon that looks like a flying ravioli? In this episode of Everything Science, we're continuing our journey into the cosmos by exploring one of the most mind-boggling planets in our solar system, Saturn. From its iconic rings that are slowly disappearing to its mysterious hexagonal storm, Saturn is full of surprises you probably never heard about. So sit tight, because we're about to blow your mind with 10 crazy facts you didn't know about Saturn. Let's get started. First up, Saturn is so light that if you could find an ocean big enough, it would float. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can something that massive float on anything? Well, it all comes down to density. Saturn's average density is less than water. To be precise, its density is about 0.687 grams per cubic centimeter, while water's density is 1 gram per cubic centimeter. This means Saturn, despite being nearly 95 times more massive than Earth, is so light for its size that it's essentially the least dense planet in the solar system. Imagine a planet that's 120,000 kilometers in diameter and it still floats. Saturn is primarily made up of hydrogen and helium, which are lightweight gases, giving it that characteristic fluffiness. Of course, we're not going to find a pool that big anytime soon, but if we did, Saturn would be the cosmic equivalent of a giant beach ball bobbing around on the surface. Saturn isn't just about its rings, it's a moon collector. With over 80 moons and counting, Saturn's lunar entourage is a wild mix from tiny rocks to massive moons like Titan, which has its own atmosphere. And who knows, new moons are still being discovered. Saturn's rings might look ancient. After all, they're one of the solar system's most iconic features. But what if I told you they might be much younger than the planet itself? While Saturn is about 4.5 billion years old, scientists believe its rings formed only a few 100 million years ago. That's like a blink of an eye compared to the planet's lifespan. Some research even suggests they're as young as 100 million years. What's even more interesting is how they likely formed. Saturn's rings are made primarily of ice, with small amounts of rocky debris. One of the leading theories is that a comet or asteroid strayed too close to Saturn and was torn apart by the planet's immense gravitational pull, forming the rings. Another possibility is that one of Saturn's moons was destroyed in a cosmic collision, and its shattered remains spread out to create the dazzling ring system we see today. But here's the catch. While the rings are young, they're not going to be around forever. They're slowly eroding due to a process known as ring rain, where particles are being pulled into Saturn's atmosphere. It's possible that in another 100 million years, Saturn could lose its rings entirely. So we're actually living in a special period where we get to witness this celestial wonder in its prime. Earth's hurricanes are no match for Saturn's wild weather. Winds on Saturn can hit speeds of up to 1,800 kilometers per hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm like that. Actually, don't. It's terrifying. Now here's one for the sci-fi fans. Saturn's North Pole has a giant hexagonal storm that's over 30,000 kilometers wide. It was discovered by the Voyager spacecraft in the 1980s, and to this day, no one's really sure why it's shaped like a hexagon. It's one of the solar system's greatest mysteries. Saturn's moon, Pan, is one of the strangest moons you'll ever hear about. It orbits within Saturn's rings and looks like, well, a space ravioli. What's even crazier is that Pan acts like a shepherd, clearing a gap in the rings known as the Encke gap. Imagine a tiny moon pushing giant ring particles out of its way. That's Pan for you. Saturn doesn't just take energy from the sun. It actually gives off more heat than it receives. This internal heat is generated by helium rain falling toward the planet's core, releasing energy as it descends. So, Saturn's got its own heating system, keeping things toasty inside despite its distance from the sun. Saturn's moon Iapetus is one of the most bizarre moons in the entire solar system. It has what can only be described as a two-faced appearance. One side of Iapetus is incredibly bright, reflecting lots of sunlight, while the other side is as dark as coal. This dual-tone surface is still a mystery, but scientists believe the darker side might be covered in material from another moon, while the bright side is made of ice. What's even crazier, Iapetus has an enormous ridge running along its equator, giving it a walnut-like shape. The ridge rises 20 kilometers high, making it one of the tallest features found on any moon or planet in our solar system. How it formed? Still a mystery. For such a massive planet, Saturn spins incredibly fast. One day on Saturn lasts just 10.7 hours. That's because it's spinning so rapidly that it flattens at the poles and bulges at the equator. So, while it takes Saturn 29 years to orbit the Sun, its days are much shorter than ours. Saturn's rings might look like one giant solid structure, but here's the crazy part. Different parts of the rings move at different speeds. The inner rings spin faster than the outer ones, almost like a celestial record player. It's a mesmerizing cosmic dance that's unique to Saturn's rings. Saturn is full of mind-boggling mysteries, and these were just a few of the craziest facts about this beautiful gas giant. If you enjoyed today's episode of Journey into the Cosmos, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to Everything Science for more adventures across the universe. Let us know in the comments which planet or moon you want us to explore next. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and remember, there's always more to discover in the cosmos.